On YouTube. Salute to Knicks Nation. Morning edition of Knicks Fan TV Live, presented by Manscaped. CP the franchise in here with a special guest, the hardest working man in the MMA, in sports, whatever you want to call it. This guy was absolutely in his bag in the past couple of weeks. Diehard Knicks fan, friend of the program. He is the host of the MMA Hour. He covers MMA, boxing, and WWE for BT Sport. Also covers MMA on The Ringer in Spotify Green Room. He's doing everything. He's got the newsletter on Substack. Ariel Helwani. Ariel, how you doing, man? Welcome back to Knicks Fan TV.
CP. Oh, it's great to be back. Thank you for running down the entire resume as it currently stands. But this feels like home, even though I'd like to say maybe a contributor, a friend of the family, an extended member of the family. I'm a big fan of what you do. It's the only Knicks Instagram page I check out, the only YouTube page I check out. You've been killing it, man. Getting Evan Fournier and all these other big stuff. I mean, man, good for you. I'm really happy, and I love what you guys did around the playoffs. Like, you're killing it. So
thank you, man.
It's great to be back. It's really great to be back, and I am honored to be invited back on.
Thanks a lot, man. And I got to say, following your journey is definitely inspiration and motivation for me as well. So it's always good to have you.
You're at Walt Frazier's. You're holding it down over there. I mean, damn, you're talking to Spike.
Spike, we had Spike on. It's been an incredible year, man. But also for you, as I go back from these past 2 weeks, I'm just watching your page. I just look at it as Helwani Vision, man, because I'm watching the SummerSlam coverage. And then we're going to Paul and Woodley, and you're in the press conference. You're running the weigh-ins, the interviews, the post-fight interviews. When you look at this moment in your journey, how did you reflect on everything that transpired last week for you?
Oh, man, that's a great question. Just very, very grateful because I'll be honest, I felt like I was losing my soul. Like, I'm a passionate guy, and I've always said that I don't want to be 85 and look back on my life and say, like, damn, I should have zigged when I zagged. I should have done this, that. I don't want to have regrets. And, for various reasons, and I'm not trying to throw shade, I just felt like I was losing my soul. I was losing that fire, that passion that perhaps separates me from others. And then I left. I left ESPN, and I took some time off, and I've never taken time off like this before. And I got to go home to Montreal, and then I got to see my parents for the first time in well over a year due to the pandemic. And I just felt like, I'm a video game character, and I'm like taking the mushroom, and I'm getting all my energy back. That's what Montreal was like for me. And then I wanted to come back real strong with a vengeance. And I couldn't have scripted it any better because, like you said, SummerSlam, and then doing the Jake Paul Woodley fight for Showtime was huge. And then my show coming back and everything just coming back at the same time. I just feel very grateful. I'm very thankful that, people wanted to give me opportunities, that I found my voice again, that I was able to, I joke about being independent and unfiltered and all that stuff. Yeah. Look, man, you know about this as well as anyone. If you don't have the support of the fans, if they don't have your back, if they're not coming back each and every time to give you, energy and to galvanize you, then you have nothing. And for whatever reason, the fans have always had my back. And so I'm just so thankful. Like on Monday after that fight, I thought, I couldn't say it enough. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. And, I'm just a kid who like dreamed of these things. And now here I am in the ring, and there's all this chaos, and there's Woodley and Paul, and I'm like, how did I get here? This is amazing. So I hope to do it again. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to do it again. But if that was it for me, one night only, man, I could die a happy man.
Inspirational, man. And you mentioned you felt like you had kind of lost your way, and you go back to Montreal, back to the essence, back home. How much influence did your family have in terms of, your decision to go the independent route, leaving ESPN and so on?
My family, people ask me about my parents when I told them many moons ago, 20 years ago, that I wanted to be an MMA journalist. And they're like, what did your parents think of that? Because I come from a Jewish family in Montreal that, most of my friends went, down the path of, say, lawyer or doctor, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're contributing to society way more than I am. But I just wanted to do something a little different. And my parents, my mom watches, what is going on here? Sorry about that.
No, good.
My mom watches every single thing that I do. Like I do, a 3-hour show on a Monday. My mom is watching it. She watches every single thing. She watched that whole pay-per-view on Sunday. Like they never for a second told me, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that." Sorry, but I don't know how to turn off my FaceTime here.
All good.
They never told me like, "Oh, maybe you should think about this, you should think about that." None of that. And I'm just so thankful that they've had my back. And if they didn't have my back, maybe I would have quit a long time ago. Because Lord knows I've wanted to quit a very long time ago. So yeah, it was just great to see them. Like I couldn't have scripted it any better. Where I end one job and then I'm about to start another one, but in between I get to reunite with my family, and they give me that that oomph. They give me
energy. Get that energy.
That energy. It was just so great, man. Like I honestly, this might be the best summer of my life because I needed that. I really, really needed that for my soul. I didn't need to go to Italy. I didn't need to go to, on some fancy trip. I just needed to go home. I needed to regroup. I needed to find the love again, the passion again. And man, now I feel like I have it more than I ever had it before. And so I'm just very, very thankful and grateful.
That's a beautiful feeling, man. So, you mentioned again that you kind of felt like you lost your way being at ESPN. You two did come to the table on a contract, and it was reported that they kind of lowballed you a little bit. Why do you feel like? I mean, to me, this is my opinion, that they kind of sold you short, and kind of didn't really invest, to me, in your brand and your persona. You're not just a journalist to me; you're a persona with a very large audience and a brand. Why do you think that ESPN didn't see that same value?
So, they gave me opportunities. There's no doubt about that. I got to do my shows. I got to do my interview show, the show with DC, and I got to do NBA sidelines. They didn't have to give me those opportunities. But ultimately, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I don't think the UFC and Dana White in particular had something to do with that at the very end, right? Because I did a whole bunch of stuff over 3 years that I was willing to do. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't ask for more. I wanted to do those things. In my mind, I was like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I don't know how long this dream is going to last. So let me try to do everything. Let me try to do E60 and Outside the Lines and NBA and at radio. I tried to do as much extra stuff as possible. And of course, in the back of your mind, you're thinking like, all right, hopefully I do a good job and it will pay off in the end. And then in the end, instead of it, quote unquote, paying off, I was offered less. Now, let me say this. What I was offered, I think most people would be thrilled with. So I'm not trying to look down on it, but of course, no one wants to get a pay cut or anything like that, or stay at the exact same spot as they were 3 years prior. And if I'm being honest with you, my man, like it didn't even matter. The pay cut didn't even matter. It would have had to have been a huge, huge, huge upgrade to stick around because I was just so unhappy. And it wasn't because I was unhappy with the people there. They're all great people. A lot of them I still talk to. It was because, I didn't sign up to be, a PR guy. I want to say what I want to say. I want to talk to who I want to talk to. And they have a very good thing with the UFC. And I was like the one gnat that wouldn't go away to a lot of people there. And so they're making multi-millions of dollars. And this one guy who's trying to be a journalist and tell it like it is kind of getting in the way. So I get it. It's hard to be, in the journalism business and in the live rights business. I get it. Like I hope people believe me. I have no hate in my heart towards them. I really don't. They gave me 3 years. They stuck to their word. They paid me. I really have no hate in my heart. Of course, do I wish things could have gone differently, because I know things would have been much better if they trusted me and listened to me and, maybe had my back a little more and stuff like that. Sure. But I think I'm in a great spot now. I'm very happy. And maybe they gave me the rub. They gave me a platform. They introduced me to people that didn't know who I was. But yeah, make no mistake about it. I mean, since before I left, and I've said this, Dana White tried to get me to not even have my first day there. And that's going to be annoying for an executive when things are going great to constantly get phone calls about someone else. So I'm sure he's taking a victory lap. I'm sure he thinks it's great that I'm out there. Trust me, did me the best thing, like the biggest favor to, if he did in fact push me out, which look, if they pushed me out, why'd they offer me a contract? I could have easily taken it.
Yeah.
But if that's the victory he wants to own, it was a huge favor. I'm so happy. I couldn't do things like the things I did at Woodley and Paul.
Right.
And for those that are wondering, like, why didn't you do that at ESPN? Because the UFC controls production.
Right.
So they decide who's on camera. And I've always thought that I could do that. And I've always thought that I could do a good job. I'm not better than anyone, but I thought that I could hang. And so that's that. And I have no regrets. I'm happy that I went. I'm happy I got to figure out like what it was all about and experience it.
Yeah.
But I also have no regrets about leaving and about everything that I'm doing now.
It was said that, the falling out with you and Dana White was over you, quote unquote, leaking the Brock Lesnar return, UFC 200, and Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz fight, and therefore they felt like you violated them in some way. How do you feel?
Not true.
How do you feel like, with you covering MMA for BT Sport, how will that impact you covering these events and these cards coming up?
Look at CP coming out with the hard-hitting questions, my man.
Hey, it's the morning show, baby. We got to give the people what they want.
Look at CP here. Dang. I thought I was coming on here to talk about Quentin Grimes and
yeah, we're going to get there. It's on
Bride,
the
where are you at?
I
saw Emmanuel quickly at the fight, by the way. He was sitting ringside.
Nice,
I didn't get a chance to say hello to him. IQ. No, but you want the tea. So BT is the broadcast partner of the UFC in the UK.
Okay.
But if I'm being honest with you, none of my deals, MMA Hour, BT, Ringer, have anything to do with going to events. I mean, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze going to the events. And so with BT, like I'm doing sit-down interviews and stuff like that, that has nothing to do with the events.
Yeah.
That's before the events, like at their house, at their gym, and things like that. So I don't know. And people keep asking me, are you banned? Are you banned? Not to my knowledge. Like I still get all the emails and no one's told me I'm banned. I don't know why I would be banned. I haven't gone to an event in a year and a half. I'm sure they're thrilled that I don't go, but I haven't applied for a credential. I just don't see the value anymore. They make me feel very unwelcome.
Yeah.
There's no access. You're sitting at the press conference, this, that. Like I could do all this stuff from home. And oh, by the way, my employers, like the Ringer, they don't need me at the event to do my post-fight podcast. BT doesn't need me at the event. MMAR doesn't need me at the event. So what am I going for? To send a picture on my Instagram to say, my office for the night. Oh, look at me. Like I don't need that. I feel like I've done it. I did it for 10 plus years and I'm good. I love the fighters. I love the fights. I have no, I love it. That's why I'm still here doing it. But there's the beauty of this situation that I'm in is nothing that I'm doing is beholden to anyone, any promoter. And so no one can tell me what to say, what I can't say, what I can do, who I can talk to. And that's what I want. That's what every journalist wants. That's what every media wants. No one wants to be told while you're doing a show, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. Like, what the hell? I didn't sign up for that. And so that's why I'm just so happy. And I feel free and I feel empowered. I feel like I got my voice back. And I don't foresee any issues. I mean, I'm sure people are going to try to make issues, but it's all Gucci on my NCP. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all Gucci, baby.
Independent Helwani, man.
That's
like
right.
I said, it's motivation and inspiration for a lot of independent content creators out there because I feel like we're in a different age now where you can build your platform and be authentic and answer to no one and still build the relationships as you have. And so I think that it's truly inspirational, man.
That's what the audience wants in 2021. They don't want mouthpieces. They don't want shills. They want the real, right? They want the honest truth. That's why they come to people like you over perhaps other people. Like they just want the real. They don't care that you have a great relationship with this agent or that agent and you're going to come out and say what they want you to say. Of course it's good to have relationships. Of course it's great to have connections and a Rolodex and all that. If people even still use Rolodexes, but you get the point. But at the end of the day, the people just want the truth. They want someone speaking, what they're thinking on their behalf, telling it like it is. And again, that's what you're doing and that's what many others are doing. And so I'm just very thankful that, I have a great relationship with the fighters. And, people are like, oh, you can't talk to this person, that person. I don't care. If you want to come on the show, great. If you don't want to come on the show, great. I'm good. I'm happy. There's enough great characters in this sport who will come on my show and we'll have a grand old time. I don't care. Was there a time back in the day where I cared? Absolutely. But luckily, I'm in a good spot where I don't care. I just want to cover the sport the way I want to cover the sport in an honest, fun, fair, ethical way. And I feel like I found the situation that allows me to do that.
True indeed, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP Ariel Helwani here on the early morning KFTV Live. If you want to call in, ask Ariel a question, phone lines are up. 657-383-1509 is the number. Or you can hit us up on the KFTV Discord.
But just a warning, if you call up and you want to come at the king, you best not miss. I just want to let everyone know.
You got to bring the smoke. You got to bring the smoke, man. Absolutely. The Paul Woodley fight. I'm sitting here waiting for the kid to get knocked out. As I have in all his fights. I always go for the underdog, Ariel. So I go for the underdog and not so much for the the arrogant fighter. But I came away at that fight, watching that fight, fairly entertained for what it was. And there's a lot of people that are against the Paul brothers. They feel like they're making a mockery of the sport. On the other hand, I think it's genius what they're doing. Name another amateur fighter who can draw as well as they can. Yes, they're cherry picking their fighters and so on and so forth, but these kids are box office. I feel like they're leveraging their brand very well and drawing casual fans to boxing. What do you think?
Anyone who's hating on them right now is just being a plain old jealous hater. What they are doing for the sport of boxing, for combat sports, is amazing. First of all, going into this fight, fourth pro fight, 3 under his belt, sold out Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, a legit NBA arena. I was there. I saw it with my eyes. That's no BS. It was loud as hell. The energy was incredible. And yeah, he's fighting Tyron Woodley, who's making his pro boxing debut. Guess what? Tyron Woodley is one of the toughest guys on the planet. I don't care if he's lost 4 in a row. I don't care if he hasn't won in 3 years. He's Tyron freaking Woodley, okay, who's been on the biggest of stages, Madison Square Garden included, T-Mobile Arena, Honda Center. Like, this guy's tough, okay? And so you got to be tough to actually step through the ropes in a squared circle and fight him. And oh, by the way, go 8 rounds with him in your fourth pro fight. Like, that's a really big deal. And so anyone who says these kids, and in particular Jake, is not a fighter, you're kidding yourself. Like, this guy, you go in there and fight any other human being, to me, you're a fighter. I don't care if it's Lamar Odom or you're a fighter. And this guy is taking it seriously. He's cutting weight. He has a proper team. He's doing everything possible. And here's the best part about it. It's not like he's going in there and taking someone's spot. He's not Master P trying out for the Raptors and there's 15 players on the squad and someone's losing out because it's a circus thing. No, if anything, he's elevating everyone. Ask Amanda Serrano, ask Tyron Woodley, ask all the fighters on that card. That's the most amount of money they've ever made and the most eyeballs they've gotten in boxing. Like, where is he hurting anyone here? Who is he? Like, people have to talk about the sanctity of boxing. Oh, the sanctity of boxing. Sanctity of boxing, WBC, IBO, IBF, with all these fugazi commissions and all the crazy judging and all the crazy refereeing and the fake drug testing. Like, what are you talking about, the sanctity of boxing? This kid is paying respect to boxing and is giving legitimate fighters, because make no mistake about it, the rest of that card, Daniel Dubois, Amanda Serrano, Tommy Fury, Montana Love, Ivan Branchik, these are legitimate fighters. They are all getting opportunities to fight on Showtime because of Jake Paul. And Tyron Woodley's making more money in this fight than he did as a UFC champion because of Jake Paul. Because of Jake Paul. So I got respect for him. He's very smart. He knows how to promote. He's not hurting anyone. And he's not making a mockery of boxing. In fact, I think he is giving boxing a whole new platform to be seen by younger kids, by a new generation. Who knows? I'm sure there's kids who are now going to the gym and be like, I want to be like Jake Paul. I want to throw hands like Jake Paul. What's wrong with that? Nothing.
I agree, man. I think he'll bring more audience and more of a casual audience to the sport. And so, like I said, I think what he and his brother are doing are genius. The top 2 pay-per-view draws for Showtime this year alone. And so you got to give those guys credit. What do you think is next for Paul? Is it a Woodley rematch? Personally, I'd love to see, him and Masvidal square off. Masvidal coming from the bare knuckle streets of Miami with Kimbo Slice. I think that would be a good draw. Maybe Conor. What do you think? What do you think's next for Jake?
It won't be Masvidal or Conor because those guys are under contract with the UFC, so they're never going to let that happen, unfortunately. I think maybe he goes down the Tommy Fury route. He says, all right, I'll pause on the MMA thing, although it's been working out wonderfully for him. I'll fight a boxer. Everyone wants me to fight a boxer. I'll fight a boxer, sort of the same skill set and skill level. And then I think the big one that could happen next summer, if the stars align, is him versus Nathan Diaz.
Ooh,
And I think that could be a lot of fun. That would be huge. I mean, could you imagine the Paul brothers against the Diaz brothers?
Yeah, that would be.
Our freaking minds would explode. It would be incredible.
That would be a dope
amazing.
card, man. That would be a dope card.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boy. CP Ariel Helwani here on the early KFTV Live. Let's go to the phones. Let's go down to Philly. My guy Angel from Philly's checking in. Angel, how you feeling, man?
Good morning, brothers. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm actually working right now, so I had to show some love and call.
Yeah, man. Work can wait, man. Let's go. Work can wait. All good.
Yeah, you said what? I couldn't hear you.
I said work can wait, Angel. We got more important things to do, man. You're on with Ariel and CP, man. Let's go.
Right. How you get right? So I guess I got two questions for you guys. I guess my first question is for Ariel. Who was your biggest influence? You know, because obviously it takes a lot to get to the point that you're at now, and you got to stay focused. So who had the biggest influence regarding your career? And my second question would be, what advice would you give to someone like me or anyone that wants to not only maybe start their own podcast or reach the platform that you reach? So that's what I would want to ask. And as always, thank you guys for taking my call.
Thanks,
and
Angel.
You guys have a great day.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, man. Great questions. I can't say that there was one singular influence. I grew up watching so many people on TV, listening to so many people. I was really obsessed with the magic of media, the magic of TV, the magic of radio as a kid. And there were a lot of people that I looked up to. Howard Cosell was someone that I thought was the man. I loved the way, he had this commanding presence, and he was a voice in boxing, the fight game I loved. He was a voice in the NBA, football, baseball, etc. And then growing up, when I was, in high school and whatnot, Marv Albert. I loved Marv Albert.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, from downtown. I mean, he's just a legend. Bob Costas, legend. Mike Breen, legend. I mean, I'll never forget when we got MSG. We got DirecTV in the mid '90s, '97, and then I got to watch, Albert and Johnny Hoops and Mike Breen and all this stuff, and it was just so great. So those guys, there was a baseball announcer in Montreal named Dave Van Horn, who I used to love as well. Howard Stern, huge influence as far as my interviews are concerned. People, in the 90s and whatever, there were a lot of hijinks, but when it came to interviews, he's the pound for pound king. Like, there is no one better than him in my lifetime. And so I listened to a lot of these people. I watched a lot of these people. I used to stay up late, like 11:30, 12 in high school. And I'll never forget, under my covers, I would position my Walkman radio in a certain way, and only late at night would I get WFAN so I could listen to the next post game. Because no one was talking about the NBA when I was a kid, in Montreal. Like, the radio there, the Raptors were nothing, the Grizzlies were nothing, and so this stuff, I would just take it all in, and I loved the idea of talking about sports, about being a personality, being on air. And I dreamed of doing that. So yeah, it's surreal that, people want to listen to me now, that I'm an escape for people, that I'm a voice for people. And I just count my blessings. So I took a little bit from all those people and tried to make, my own kind of style and persona, but I'd be lying if I didn't say, like, I took a little bit from Howard, from both Howards, Cosell and Stern and Costa. But then ultimately you have to be yourself. And that leads me to the next question. My advice would be, this is what I did when I started. I looked around and I said, all right, as far as MMA, what is missing? And what do I love to do? And it was interviews. And there was just this wide open lane as far as MMA interviewing was concerned, where I felt like I could really make an impact. And so I focused on that. And so I looked at everyone else and I took elements of everyone's style and I tried over time to blend it into my style. And I just wanted to be unique. A lot of people will reach out to me and say, oh, how can I be an MMA journalist? What do I have to do, this and that? And then they'll show me stuff that they do. And it's like a recap of Bellator 265. And my response to them would be, what are you doing that is going to make you stick out?
Yeah,
No one is
man.
coming to you for that recap. You can get it on ESPN.com or MMA Junkie or MMA Fighting or whatever. And so you have to stick out. And so I tried to do that with my interviews. Look at what you're doing. You're giving the fans a voice, Knicks fans a voice. I always used to say the last few years, because I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, I'm a Toronto Blue Jays fan, this and that. I used to think that the Knicks media that was being served to the fans was some of the worst in sports. There were no good podcasts. The beat writers, I would follow them all on Twitter, and the whole freaking game was just them bickering with each other with their little inside jokes. I was like, get out of here with this nonsense. Now I hardly follow any of them.
Yeah.
I follow like you and Knicks Film School and all those guys, because you're giving us what we want. And you're fans and you're passionate, but you're also analyzing things. So that, you guys found your voice and you found your lane and you're serving the audience the right way. And so that's my best advice. Look at what people are doing, be different, be unique, stand out, and don't wait for anyone to give you the shot. I had to start my own website. I wasn't working for anyone in the early days when I started in 2007. Don't wait for someone to give you a handout. And then on top of all that, be patient. A lot of people are impatient. They think it's going to happen in a year. I started in 2007. I still don't feel like I made it. I just got to Showtime to do the boxing match last week. 14 years later. It takes a while. You have to be patient. You have to put in the work. Be respectful. Be professional. To the people that were there before you, be respectful. Be professional. Don't come in like a tour de force and start hating and causing ruckus and everything like that. Have some respect for the previous generation. Work your ass off, and when you think you're working hard, work even harder.
Well said. Well said, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. I want to shout out Virtuoso, sends a super chat. He says, Ariel is a living embodiment of a Drake song. He has enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain him for his energy, trying to take away from a Quebecois. Go Knicks.
Yo, can I tell you something? Can I tell you something straight up?
Yeah.
I love Drake. I love Champagne Papi. That's my guy.
Yes.
That's my guy. I love him.
Do you have any features on CLB? Is that the next wave for you?
No comment. No, I don't. But yo, listen to this. This is nuts. So anytime I hope he doesn't mind that I say this. Anytime I'm about to do something, I listen to Drake. I listen to headlines, 0 to 100. He gets me fired up, right? Freaking lemon pepper freestyle. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. That's all I listen to. So I'm on the Showtime broadcast on Sunday night, and they go to me first, and I'm talking up Woodley and this and that. And I said, guys, if I can steal a line from the lyrical genius Drake for a moment, who once said, right? He once said, someone told me I fell off. Ooh, I needed that, from headlines, right? Now they try to see. And let's be honest, for the last few months, a lot of people have been saying Tyron Woodley fell off. Tonight we find out if he needed that. I felt pretty good about myself. Okay, then we have to go from the set to ringside to call the first fight. So I'm like, all right, good start, feeling good, got the nerves out and everything. Palms are a little bit sweaty, all good. Sit, check Instagram real quick, and there's a DM from Drake.
Oh no, get out of here. Get in here.
Thanks for the shout out, my brother.
That's dope, man. That is dope. That is dope.
That's crazy.
The feature's coming, man. The feature's coming.
Yo, he's my guy. I would love to interview Drake. 2 Jewish boys from Canada, doing
it's
big
gonna
things.
happen, man.
I'd love to. So I have a lot of love for him, and I can't wait for the new album. And that's my guy. I will always back Drake. I want my chips with my dip. I will always back that guy for life. And all the haters, I got 2 words for you. All right, that's my guy.
Great story, man. Shout out my guy Ari in the chat. He says, who's the number 1 pound for pound fighter right now in the UFC?
Well, Khabib was the guy, but then he retired.
Yeah.
Izzy was the guy, in my opinion, but then he went up and lost. So right now I have to give love to Kamaru Usman, who's been doing big things. Welterweight champion, the Nigerian Nightmare, who will be fighting at Madison Square Garden on November 6th against Colby Covington. So if I had to pick one dude right now, it'd probably be Usman.
Yeah, I got to go with my guy Usman, man. Absolutely filthy. Looking forward to that fight at the Garden. Looking forward to my guy Aljo taking on Jan to quiet the haters, man.
That's right.
Controversial finish. Didn't want the belt, got the belt. I saw him on the show yesterday. You guys had an airing of grievances.
We did.
That was dope. That was dope to see.
Hey, I got a lot of respect from a lot of people who have beef. Won't come on. They'll say, "Screw you." Blah 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 blah. He showed up. Went back, and that's what I say to everyone. Like, yo, it's not personal. The job is sometimes to be critical. I try not to be. I don't want to have haters. I don't want to have beefs. But yo, sometimes you have to say things.
Yeah.
And it's not like I hate you or I'm wishing bad upon you. If you have a problem, come on the show. We'll talk it out.
Air it out.
You call me names. I'll say some stuff, and then we'll shake hands. And I wish you the best. And so, say what you will about Aljo. He showed up. He didn't have to, and so I got a lot of respect.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Aljo. Everybody in Long Island, stand up. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP Ariel Helwani here talking MMA. But now let's talk orange and blue. Let's talk Knicks.
Yeah. Let's go.
What did you think about the offseason? The draft. You talked about Quentin Grimes. Miles McBride, Jericho Sims showed out in Summer League. Free agency. Bringing back Rose, Burks, Noel, adding Fournier, and then the surprising adding Kemba, re-signing Julius. What did you think about the Knicks offseason?
Okay, so I will be honest. Originally, I was getting a little worried on draft night. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? But you know what? I have come, in the past, we are, or we have been conditioned to, let's be honest, not trust Knicks management.
The PTSD
expect the worst when it comes to Knicks management. And I have a lot of trust in this new management, Leon Rose and Worldwide West and all this stuff, and and the scouting team. And so I wasn't freaking out. And then they drafted these dudes, and then you see them in Summer League, and I am freaking pumped. Quentin Grimes looks like the second coming of H2O Allen Houston. Deuce McBride has sick hair. Seems like he's really happy to be a Knick. And also, I love his tenacity.
Yeah.
I love his short shorts. I love everything about him. He's the man. Jericho Sims is jumping out of the building. Like, I love all three of those guys. I love the draft. I love what they did. And then, all right, free agency starts. And all right, it's Fournier. And yeah, maybe it's a little more than you would have expected. But we needed a shooter. And he had a great run with Orlando. Not the best run, but still a pretty solid run with Boston. And it's all right, okay. We get the hometown discount from Julius. We lose Reggie Bullock, and he was good, but, not the biggest deal. We re-signed Nerlens Noel. And then you're like, all right, this was okay.
Okay,
This was all right. I'm happy. And then the freaking bomb from the Bronx comes. Kemba comes home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. And I love it. Everyone doubting us. And by the way, when they made that trade to Oklahoma City, I tweeted, Knicks should go after him. And everyone's like, dumb, 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 dumb. And look what happened.
Yeah.
Knicks went after him. And he gave him the hometown discount as well. Thank you very much, Oklahoma City. I think this is going to be great. He's going to be revived. There's going to be a little less pressure on him.
Yeah.
Having Derrick Rose back him up. Quickly's there as well. McBride, we'll see what happens with those guys. But those two guys together, I think they're gonna elevate each other. I know the big question is, was the season an anomaly for Julius Randle? Is he more the guy we saw in the playoffs? Regular season Randle is coming back. He had a big year. He was probably tired. A lot of pressure. They were game planning for him in front of a crowd for the first time. And you know what? The Hawks are good. You got to give them respect. They had a great game plan, and they're a great team. And I thought it was crazy that so many people thought that the Knicks were just going to steamroll right through them. They're a really good team, and look how far they went.
They were a good team, and you got to tip your cap to them, sure.
Absolutely. And so Randall's going to come back. Kemba's going to shove it down everyone's throat. I can't wait for like a random Monday night at the Garden in January when he's step backing all over people. The Garden is going to be insane. And to me, one of the biggest questions is Mitchell Robinson. Can Mitchell Robinson take that next step? Can he stay healthy? Can he be that force in the middle? Obviously, we've got some guys to back him up, but I think we really need Mitchell Robinson to do his thing. I like the starting lineup. I think they're a better team than last year. I think they're a deeper team than last year. I don't think they lost that many pieces. It's another year with Tibbs. Everyone's more comfortable. It's another year of Obi Toppin, who looked great. It's another year of Emmanuel Quickley, who looked great in Summer League. Man, I am hyped. I love this team. And you know what's so fun about this team? They're likable.
Yeah.
They're fun to root for. They represent the city. man, this is all we ever wanted, right? This is all we ever wanted from a Knicks team. A likable, hardworking, fun, young group of guys. And we got it, and we've got the prodigal son, the last great New York City point guard, at least for now, coming home. Like, what a story. This is great.
I agree with you, man. I just think, we have a locker room of unified guys, 1 through 15. Guys who have been here before. Kemba knows the stage, which is very important. Derrick Rose knows the stage. Julius and RJ are stepping up as leaders. They're putting in the work. I'm not sure if you saw the offseason workouts of RJ, but he's looking beastly out there.
Oh, I didn't even mention my Canadian brother, Maple Jordan.
Your Canadian brother is going in right now.
I didn't mention him. I was so bummed that Canada didn't qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah.
It wasn't his fault. Him and Andrew Wiggins played really, really good, but, FIBA's a little bit different. Anyway, RJ continues to improve. Yeah, it's a great squad. I think Fournier is going to be great. He's going to open things up. I'm really excited, and I love Fournier's swag, calling out KD. I love that guy. He's a lot of fun, man. He really is. So there's just a lot to be excited about. Mitchell Robinson, though, I think he needs to step up. That's the thing.
Yeah, Mitch is definitely going to be key in terms of his health, and I just want to see more development in year 4 for him, more maturation in his offensive game. But I think having consistent playmakers in Kemba, in Rose, RJ, Fournier will certainly help him. And so I think that's a good thing for Mitch. But his defense was sorely needed, especially last year. Noel's a great rim protector, but Mitch offers you so much more versatility on the perimeter. I thought that was sorely missed in the Hawks season, Hawks series especially.
Look at you play. You play like little highlights and stuff while we're talking about RJ.
This is
all yourself.
This is all us, and we have the rights to this. We have the rights to these clips. And,
how do you get the rights to them?
And man. Well, that's a little top secret, but we do have the rights to this. And yes, this is a full blown soup.
But you do it all yourself?
Show. Yes, this is a one-man production, Ariel. Hosting, directing, producing, and I got my guy Super Dave on the background. He's screening the calls, so we don't let anybody.
He's in the room with you right now?
He's at his own house. This is all a remote production, but he's screening the calls. He's manning the chat. We're looking out for the goons. We keep a tight ship.
What do you do? You get rid of them?
Oh, yeah. He screens them. Sometimes you might get crossed up a little bit. It happens. We get a little accidents. We might have some enemies coming in representing the Nets or the Hawks and things of that nature. And, we'll let them in for a little entertainment as long as they come in respectfully. So sometimes it'll slip through. But I think we got like a 98%, compliance rate.
I love it, man. I'm on here after every big game. I listen to the podcast, everything. You guys are really doing a great job. I'm a legit fan. I've been waiting for a show like this, a podcast like this, to represent the Knicks. The coverage, you know what I'm talking about, right? A few years ago. When did you start?
2017, the summer of Frank draft, and we were potentially trading Porzingis. Summer 2017.
Oh, yes. I remember, I used to listen to, what's his name? He did a good job. He's now with SI. He works with Ashley.
Lundberg?
Lundberg, yes.
Yeah.
He used to do a pretty good post-game show and stuff like that, but after he left, and there just wasn't a lot of good stuff. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that. Yeah. Can we talk about Frank Ntilikina for a second?
Sure.
Can we get over this? This is the one beef that I have with Knicks fans. Your infatuation with this guy is completely delusional.
Will not let it go, man. They will
he
not
is
let it go.
not that guy. He is not that guy. He never was. He never will be. Get over it. He is not that good. What's wrong with you guys?
Well, I'm telling you something right now. The Frank Hive are going to transfer their membership to the Dukes McBride Hive. Because not only is he a tenacious defender, the three-point shot has been looking on the money. He's operating out of the mid-range, and the kid is just poised, very mature for his age. Obviously went to a good school, well coached under Bob Huggins at West Virginia. Now he's going to come in here under Tibbs. I think McBride is going to have a chance to play, especially factoring in, potential load management with Rose and Kemba. You knock on wood, these guys don't get injured, but I think McBride, he's going to force Tibbs' hand, especially on the defensive end.
100%. I love his style. I love he's doing TikTok videos while wearing his Knicks jersey.
He's into it.
All three of those dudes. Jericho Sims is fun.
Yeah.
Quentin looked great. I think Obi's going to have a big season. I think getting to play in the playoffs, and he looked good in Summer League. There's really not one guy that I'm like, I'm bummed this guy isn't coming back. I'll miss Reggie Bullock's hair.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how he actually plays with that and it doesn't weigh him down. Oh, and by the way, we no Alfred Payton.
No
Alfred
Payton.
With all due respect.
No Payton. All due respect, but no Payton.
I'm not trying to be a hater. But I just it was time.
Yeah,
it was time to move on.
It was time.
it's a great. I mean, it's a great time to be a Knicks fan, and fans are back. We got the vaccinated fans in the building.
Yeah.
It's a great time. I got to go to one game. This was like one of the best experiences of my life. Got to go to one game last year. It was the freaking Phoenix Suns game at the end of that big winning streak
I was
on a
there.
Monday night in April, and I got to sit for the first time in my life, first time ever, courtside. Obviously, I worked sidelines, but I never got to sit as a fan.
Yeah.
Got to sit courtside with the freaking legend, the mayor of New York, Mr. Bam Bam Baklava himself, Action Bronson.
Oh, yeah, I was there. Yeah, I remember that.
You were at that game. Yes, you were at that
me
game.
and Chuck
Yep.
D were at that game. I remember when they showed Bam Bam on the
I was right next
on
to
the
him.
Jumbotron. They didn't give you any love on the
They
Jumbotron,
didn't give me any love.
man.
There was some actor next to me, and they put him. I was like, I never even heard of this dude. Can I not get some big screen love, guys? I mean, what is going on here?
They love the Law and Order guys too, man. They always show the Law
they
and
love
Order
those
guys over
dudes.
there, man.
Yeah. But Action is the man.
Yeah.
Huge Knicks fan. Very kind of him to invite me. We got to go in like the little room and have some Kung Pao chicken afterwards.
Nice.
And we're sitting there just chilling with Jon Stewart. I'm like, how did I end up here? How did I end up here that I'm with Action Bronson and Jon Stewart eating chicken at halftime of a Knicks Suns game? It was a great game, by the way. It was a heartbreaker that we lost.
Yeah, it was a tough one, man.
But yeah, man, I'm just so happy that the Knicks are back. I'm so happy that that the fans could come back. Hopefully that remains and everyone stays healthy. And I'm just so happy that we have a team that we can root for again, that we could be proud
That
of.
we could be proud of. Well said, man. Let me take 2 quick calls before you go. All right, I got to go to my guy. His name is Jay from Florida, right?
All right.
But we call
Was he a
him,
hitter?
Yes, absolutely. You hit it on the head.
Okay, let's go, Jay.
We call
Let's
him
go.
the Debbie Downer. His name is Debbie Downer. They throw tomatoes in the chat when he comes through because he's always negative. Jay, you live and direct. What's going on?
Yeah, Ariel. What's up, brother? I'm the king, the CEO of the bad Knicks fans.
Okay, let's see.
Fans with their own opinion, right? CP, I forgot to mention this last night. Everybody loves. There's always once a Knick, always a Knick, right?
Yeah.
Did you see how Reggie Bullock went on the podium, on the Mavs podium, and said that going to the Mavs is a no-brainer?
I mean, I
This
can't.
is who we
What do
invest in
you
our
want him to
time
say?
in, our
Well, I don't know. I
contract
wanted
in.
to stay with the Knicks. A lot of people sent me that, like, yo, can you believe Bullock said that? It was what it was, man. It's PR, man.
These vets don't care, man. Burks and them don't care. That's what I'm saying. Grow your kids, play your kids. Your kids are invested. You drafted them. I don't mind the Kemba. Kemba's from the BX, so he's invested in New York. Taj is invested in New York. But these people don't care about New York. They don't care about the Knicks. They care about their next contract. I'm tired of it. Ariel, I want to ask you a question. How are you building your team? What makes you feel good if you won a championship with superstars we signed and bought, or if our homegrown talent puts it together and actually wins us a long championship? I'm gone.
Well,
And he
listen,
drops the mic.
I mean, I'll take it whichever way I can get it, if I'm being honest. But I feel like we got a nice little mix right here. And by the way, that's the best he got. I mean, he seemed like a really lovely guy. I mean, I didn't seem too bad.
He usually brings the smoke. Last night he came with it, and the chat greeted him with thousands of tomato emojis, and so he might be a little bit, under the weather today. So you got to tune in the next time. He'll come back.
Well, if I'm being honest, he was probably intimidated in the presence of Helwani, if I'm being honest. Now, I like a little bit of mix. Like, I thought, I know this is going to upset some people. That Brooklyn Nets team of a couple of years ago with D'Angelo Russell, and Kenny Atkinson, like they were a likable squad, right? Because they were kind of the lovable underdog guys. And last year's Knicks team kind of reminded me of that because it was a bunch of guys that people didn't want, that people wrote off. They wrote off Julius Randle. They wrote off Nerlens Noel. They wrote off R.J. Barrett, Derrick Rose, etc. And it was like, wow, here we go. And now you add a Kemba to the mix. Of course, we had some aspirations of maybe adding, a big name here or there, but I'm okay with this. I don't think. Look, any Knicks fan that thought we were going to win the championship last year, you're delusional. Go back to October, November of last year. We would have all taken a play-in game. We would have been happy with the 10 seed, in my opinion, right? Sure. We ended up being the 4 seed with home court, and we won a game in the playoffs. Now, I'll see Knicks haters say, like, oh, great, you're happy with that? Yeah. I am happy with that. When you've watched the team that we've watched over the last few years, I'm happy with a playoff berth, home court, and 1 win in the playoffs. Now,
I was good with it.
I want a series win this year. Maybe 2. That would be nice. But, a gradual progression. That's what those early 90s Knicks teams did. Every year they got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. But, and they had the homegrown guys like Ewing, Starks, Mason. They had the guys that they added like Oakley X-Men,
Yeah.
Derek Harper, those Doc Rivers. Like, it was a nice mix of homegrown and adding. That's look at the Bucks. Homegrown, Giannis and company, but they had to add a few guys like Drew Holiday. It's impossible to do it one way.
Right.
But as long as you have a good culture, a good front office, the type of team and organization that people want to be a part of, there is no reason why the Knicks should have been the laughingstock that they were for the last 20 years. And it's because players didn't want to come here. They didn't want to be a part of this. They'd prefer to go to Brooklyn, that sad sack organization, and play for the B team. Well, guess what? Them days are over. They want to be a part of the A team. They want to be back at the Mecca. They want to be in front of the bright lights of the big stars on the grandest stage possible on Broadway. Oh, I feel bad for all the fans this year that think that the Knicks are not going to be relevant again. I mean, you are so wrong. And guess what? We're going to be even more insufferable. And you know what's so fun?
We're going to be obnoxious, man. I'm looking
You know what's great, CP? You know what's great? I was doing sidelines. And it was great, and I loved it. And can I just give a shout out to Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy? Mike Breen, an absolute mensch. You know what a mensch is?
Yeah.
Like this guy, when I left ESPN, he didn't have to write. He went out of his way to write me one of the nicest text messages I've ever received. It brought tears to my eyes. This is Mike Breen. Mike Breen, man, would take me for a sandwich before the game. Like, he didn't have to do any of that.
Right.
All those people. Like, I really want to give a shout out to Doris Burke and Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jones and Ryan Rucco, Cassidy Hubbard, George Sedano, Israel Gutierrez, like that NBA on ESPN team and family. I hate to say it, like, that was the best part, the best experience, the best byproduct of me being at ESPN. I will never forget those games and those experiences. And when you're working that job, you got to be down the middle. You got to be, unbiased. You can't have favorites, root for teams, players, etc. Well, guess what, CP? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm back, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go. Is back. I got my UX sweatshirt on. Let's go. I can be as crazy, as insufferable, as biased as I want to be until I get another sideline job. But for now, I'm all in.
All in, baby.
Pat O'Brien said back in 1985 when the Knicks got the first pick in the lottery, basketball is back in New York City, my friends, and it is back in New York City in 2021.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. Well said, Ariel. You have time for one more question? I know you're tight.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. I'm hyped.
Last question of the night. He's hyped, baby. Let's go. Hit that thumbs up button for you, boy. CP Ariel Helwani here. Ben from Atlanta. Let's go. How you doing, man?
Hey, what up, CP? It's my second time calling in.
Yep.
Last time I called in was right before the draft, and y'all diagnosed me with PTSD because I didn't want Brandon Boss. but I'm more than happy with what we did with the draft. Super happy. I don't think anybody could be disappointed. And I want to give a shout out, my guy Ariel. You know why you my guy? Not only are you a Knicks fan, but you're a fan of the best football team in the state of New York, the Buffalo Bills.
Let's go.
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
You mean the
Yes,
AFC
Bills
champs?
Mafia.
You mean the eventual Super Bowl champs this year, led by the GOAT Josh Allen, the MVP Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs? Oh, we are going to run through the Jets this year. It's going to be great.
Hey, so my question, Ariel. So I know you're a Knicks fan, and obviously you do a great job with your MMA work. So my question is, who would you compare some of the 90s Knicks players, legends, who would you compare them to in regards to MMA fighters? Like Ewing, what or Starks or Oakley? Who would we compare those to certain MMA fighters today?
Damn, that's a good one. Well, let me first just say, any Knicks fan that doesn't root for the Buffalo Bills should be ashamed of themselves. There's only one team that plays. There's only one team that plays in the state of New York. All right, just for the record, and it's the Buffalo freaking Bills over in Orchard Park. All right?
You guys stole our colors, Ariel. You guys stole our colors, the true blue, the true red, white, and blue New York Football Giants. You stole our colors. We beat you guys when it mattered. The Desert Storm Super Bowl. But go ahead. I digress.
Yeah. All right. That was, we missed it wide right. Anyway, we should have won that one. It's funny you asked that because, I love fighters. I feel a connection. People are like, oh, you're a puny little, white Jewish boy. But I feel a connection to fighters. And I like to think that I have a little fight in me as well. And that's what I loved about those Knicks teams in the 90s. That's why I fell in love with them. I didn't like the flashy players. I didn't like MJ. I didn't like, Sean Kemp or whatever. I liked the freaking brawlers.
Yeah,
I loved Mason. May he rest in peace. I love Charles Oakley. I love John Starks. Patrick Ewing was my favorite player of all time. Gritty, hard-nosed, tough, hard hat wearing, lunch pail bringing, blue collar team. Those are my guys. And so I can't really give you, Ewing is this guy, Oakley is this guy. But let me tell you something. We all know the stories of Charles Oakley and Tyrone Hill and all those things that happened. We've all heard those stories. And I can't wait for his book that I think is coming out in early
Coming out soon.
Frank Isola wrote it with him. I can't wait for that. By the way, Still Ballin' is a great Knicks book. Have you read Still Ballin'?
I haven't. Who's that? Still Ballin'?
So if you got some time, over the next month before the season starts, you want to, chill out Labor Day. Still Ballin' is a book written by Frank Isola and Mike Wise, two legends of the media game. They follow the 99 team. It's all about that 99 season. It came out in 2000. They turned it around super quick, but it's a great trip down memory lane. I just reread it because I had some time about that 99 season, how great that year was, with all the ups and downs.
Yeah.
So anyway, shout out to those guys. Those guys were fighters, man, and I just loved it. I'll never forget X-Man going in Jordan's face.
Yep.
Remember that in '92?
Yep.
I'll never forget that.
Absolutely.
And it's a big regret as a fan that they didn't keep him around.
Yeah.
That would have been so great. He was part of the fabric of that team. He was part of the heart and soul of that team. So yeah, man, it's no coincidence. I like the fighters. I like the blue collar guys. I like the hard nosed guys who've got heart, who've got passion, who don't care about being flashy and getting the love and the endorsements. They just want to go out and freaking ram it down your throat. And in many respects, that's who fighters are. And so, yeah, that's why I'm still a Knicks fan after all these years, after all the slander, after all the bad seasons. It's because that team connected with me and made me fall in love with them in such a deep and passionate way. I can't get rid of it. I'll be honest, there were times where I'm like, why do I care about these guys so much? Why do I let them affect my mood? But then you remember, Game 2 in May against the Hawks, and you see the Garden rocking like it was, and Obi Top. I mean, that's why we love it. That's why we love them.
Absolutely, man. Just in that building, man. I had goosebumps. Game 1 in the beginning, and then Game 2 in the end. Outside, everything spilt outside. It was just crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. And as you said, it just revived those memories as a kid of the 90s, man. It was just electric being in there. And let's see if we can create some more memories with this team, man, coming up on this season 21-22 campaign. But Ariel, man, I appreciate the time. This was a great show, great episode. I know the fans in the chat are enjoying it. So you're a busy guy, man, the hardest working man in sports right now, hands down. But I appreciate all the time you gave us, man. Absolutely.
Hey, thank you very much. Always got time for you guys. I hope the Knicks fans know that they're very lucky to have you as a representative, as one of their voices in this media game. And I hope they know, even though I'm not a day-to-day guy, I'm one of you. And I will always, anytime I go on a show, anytime they try to slander the Knicks, I will always have the Knicks fans back and try to represent the fan base as best as possible. So like I said, it's an honor. Thank you for having me on, and I can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely, man. Any projects, any sites you want to send the fans to? Or
KnicksFanTV, check it out. CP, he beats Max Kellerman with 10-8s every time they go, and Max is now gone because of the constant beatdowns
that is a fact.
That CP gave that man.
That is a fact.
Peace, CP, and still hashtag and still. Representing New York the best way.
Ariel, thanks again, man. Enjoy the weekend. Get some rest, man. But thanks again for your time, bro.
Thanks, my man. Take care.
All right. That was Ariel Helwani. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. What a show. What a show. Excellent morning show with Ariel Helwani. Our matinee now getting to 12 o'clock here on the East Coast. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. That's my guy, man. I support that guy 100%. And a diehard Knicks fan, great journalist, very much inspiring what I'm doing here. So I definitely appreciate Ariel for all the time. Remember, this show is presented by Manscaped. Fellas, go out and get the new Lawnmower 4.0, the #1 men's grooming tool for below the waist. the Ferrari of ball trimmers. Go to manscaped.com, enter promo code Knicks for 20% off plus free shipping. They have a lot of great products. You have the Lawnmower 4.0. You have the Weed Whacker. This is the hair and nose trimmer, the Weed Whacker. You have your ball deodorant, ball toner. So that they'll set you up, man. And it also ships to the U.S., UK, Europe, South Africa, Australia, Singapore as well. So make sure my friends from all over the world go out and get it. And proceeds certainly come back to the show and helps us, invest more in the show and bring you guys a quality product. So make sure you guys are going out and doing that. Audio podcast of this show will be available. Go to KnicksFanTV.com. in a few hours or so, and you'll see the audio podcast links available. We'll also run some replays of the show throughout the day, so shout out to the replay gang ahead of time. And yeah, man, I saw a super chat did come in from my guy, Alan Berman. Alan Berman says, salute, love that Helwani is one of us. Dude is one of the good guys. Tell him to watch Sam Kilner's pro debut tomorrow. Kid's a beast and gonna be a world champion somewhere. So yeah, I'll send that message to Ariel. Alan, always appreciate you supporting us. And we're out of here, man. Do me one more favor to all of you guys in the chat right now. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and the notification bell. And I'll catch up with you guys, man. CP, I'm out of here.